Congratulations to the Scania V8 for 50 years of emotion meets logic. Here are some of the milestones and people that made the engine. A true legend, the undisputed king of the road. If there is one person to thank for the development of the engine that became one of Scania's biggest successes, it would probably be Bing, often called the father of the Scania V8, the legendary head of design of diesel engines from the 1960s to the 1980s anticipated the need for truck engines that would meet the growing demand for more power, especially for timber haulage and heavy long haulage. In the early 1960s, Scania's inline 6.8 and 11-liter engines were able to reach 250 horsepower, an output sufficient for the long haulage of the time. But the engineers at then called Scania V8 realized that such outputs would not be sufficient in future, and decided to shake up the engines market. Gatafelt, known for his casual walk-on leadership style and for his habit of leaning over the design engineers' blueprints, pointing out insightful details, was given the task of leading the development of a more powerful engine, a decision Scania took in 1962. We realized that about 350 horsepower was needed to achieve good drivability. That meant approximately 100 horsepower more than our other engines, said Gatafelt later as he looked back at the project. The demands for more powerful truck engines conveniently coincided with the trend for more compact, forward-controlled trucks, instead of the torpedo-built trucks that dominated post-war heavy transport. But there was a problem. How to fit a bigger, inline-8 engine underneath a forward control cab. The concept that Gatafelt and his colleagues came up with involved a powerful yet very compact power unit, a 19 V8 featuring a 14.2-liter swept volume engine. This powertrain concept had all the characteristics that Scania's engineers were looking for: good tractive power at low engine speeds, few gear changes, and sufficient extra power throughout the entire engine speed range. The first model to be fitted with the new engine, the LB140, quickly won acclaim from the transport industry. Customers appreciated the engine's appearance, with its V-shaped valve covers on individual cylinder heads, and were delighted with the high 350 horsepower output, combined with a torque curve that encouraged the use of low engine speeds. And of course, there was the distinctive sound, the rumble that would become one of the V8's most appreciated characteristics. Scania created a very robust engine that could last very long, even for demanding tasks, says Ulf, a former assistant chief engineer at now performance object leader. With the V8, we managed to present an engine that, due to its high output and its ability to be driven at low revs, had great fuel economy, and in contrast to other high-output inline engines, the V8 had modest wear and tear on axles, gearboxes, and other components in the powertrain. Scania created a very robust engine that could last very long, even for demanding tasks. Scania manufactured more than 170,000 14-liter V8, making it by far the best-selling engine in the high-output segment. So far, so good. Not quite. The future of the V8 engine was threatened during the late 1980s as Scania was working on one of its largest cab redesigns to date, which would become the 4 Series that was launched in 1995. Suddenly, with all the challenges of fitting a V8 engine block into the design, it was no longer an obvious choice. Scania's engineers were split into 2 camps. Some favored the idea of an inline 6, 11 and 14-liter combi engine that would take full advantage of the company's modular system, but the others emphasized the V8's importance to the Scania brand. As one chief engineer put it, our V8 also contributes to the sales of our other products. Luckily, the latter opinion won out. Some years later, Scania had reached another technical crossroads. How would they fit in the new injection technology that was required for the engine to comply with the new Euro 3 emissions legislation? To solve the challenge, Scania's engineers started the development of a completely new engine setup, a V8 with a narrower, 72-degree angle. Around 12 prototypes were built, of which a couple still exist in less busy corners of Scania's R&D department. But it was at this point that a certain senior engineer stepped in. He warned that the 72-degree engine would have a very complex layout, especially the crankshaft. Finally, with another injection solution chosen, we chose to develop a totally new 16-liter engine instead, recalls Håkan Fransson, a retired former Scania chief engineer. So, even for a faithful workhorse like Scania's original 14-liter V8, the last lap was approaching. Emissions legislation and environmental requirements were becoming tighter with the arrival of the Euro 3, 4, and 5 standards. And in the mid-1990s, Scania prepared itself for a major technological step, developing an entirely new V8 engine to replace the 14. With the arrival of the new millennium, the original Legend was finally replaced by the substantially more powerful 16-liter V8, which had power ratings of 480 and 580 horsepower at 900 R per minute and up to 2,700 Newton-meters of torque, more than double the original V8 from 1969. Another major step Scania took with the new engine was many components including the cylinder, were the same as the ones used for the inline engines. The modular concept is of enormous importance for synergies in Scania's development and production, but also beneficial for customers as it eases up service and spare parts handling. The project manager for the new D16 engine platform was Jonas Hofstedt, who today is a vice president at Scania R&D. At a personal level, it's still the high point of my 35 career at Scania, he says. At a personal level, it's still the high point of my 35-year career at Hofstedt's core team was a tight-knit group of just 10 people, with the responsibility of integrating all kinds of demands, finding suppliers, setting up a new production line, fitting the new design into the chassis, and, last but not least, developing an engine that could match its predecessor's image of performance and reliability. I'm very proud of the result, Hofstedt says today. Scania's 16-liter V8 platform became a success that no other competitor came close to. Since the launch, it has a well-earned reputation in the high-output segment and is the foundation on which today's improved and high-performing engine is built. After the launch of the 16-liter V8 in 2000, work continued within Scania's engine development. In 2005, the company launched its broadest range of engines to date, including 500, 560, and 620 horsepower V8 South for Euro 3, Euro 4, and Euro 5 engines, with up to 3,000 Newton-meters of torque. Here, the engineers were using technologies to match the environmental requirements in the most efficient manner for all types of transport. With Euro 6 legislation rapidly approaching, Scania had put enormous resources into combining all the new engine technologies. The company had developed exhaust gas recirculation, variable turbogeometry, common rail, high-pressure fuel injection, selective catalytic reduction, and particulate filtering. Add to that Scania's own engine and exhaust management technology, which was now integrated into one system. All of these technologies would later be implemented in the V8. In 2010, all of these features came together as Scania took a major developmental step with the 16-liter engine, increasing the swept volume from 15.6 to 16.4 liter and introducing a new, lighter yet stronger cylinder block and CGI compacted graphite iron. At the same time, Scania presented the world's most powerful truck engine to date, a 730 horsepower V8 with a maximum torque of 3,500 Nm with the R730. A new legend was born. In the following years, engine and cab development continued to be intense. By the time Scania introduced its new streamlined trucks in 2013, the company was also presenting its second-generation Euro 6 range, including 525, 180, and 730 horsepower V8 engine. In line with ever-increasing environmental concerns, Scania also continued to develop engines that could run on a range of renewable fuels. Every V8 truck produced since 2015 can run on biodiesel, and the company also offers several engine alternatives for biodiesel, coinciding with the company's 125th anniversary. In 2016, Scania introduced an entirely new truck range. This biggest ever product launch in the company's history was the result of 10 years of development and an investment of over 20 billion Swedish kronor, 2 billion euros. The following year, the company presented the all-new V8 engine for the new truck generation, featuring a further reinforced cylinder block to manage even higher pressure in the future. The new V8 built on many of the successful features from earlier generations, but out of approximately 650 components that make up the entire engine, 200 were completely new. The team that developed the new V8 engine focused on 4 key areas: increasing fuel efficiency by 5 to 8% to improve customers' profitability, improving serviceability to increase the vehicle's uptime, improving production processes to increase quality, and a contemporary design that could signify a new generation's. But what would Scania's V8 South be without the people that use them? Every day, 24/7, under all conditions, the V8 customers have a special position within Scania's R&D department. Very skilled and loyal. They are of great importance when it comes to testing new models and new functionality, not only for the V8 South but also for development in general. One of the latest field test drivers for Scania is Rickard X, a Swede who between 2016 and 2017 was putting Scania's new V8 generation to the test. An S656 to Euro 6